No symptoms, no illness. Asymptomatic is imagination illusion and a convenient assumption for those who call themselves doctors. Real doctors require symptoms, but false doctors, who don't require no signs and symptoms, are liars and manipulators. This is when they tell you that you are sick without symptoms, then when your body reacts to their medication with symptoms, alerting something is wrong here. These doctors say it is a healthy thing. They made it all reverse. If they manipulated our minds to believe that when we feel good it might be bad, that is how we learn to mistrust our body, which communicates with us every second about everything. It gives us non-stop feedback what is going on inside and outside of us. What food we eat, what person we met, what air we breathe, how we feel, etc. Our body is a top sensory machine, and every cell in our body is programmed by nature to live and prosper, and does everything for it, including warning us when necessary in the form of symptoms. Symptoms are messengers. If we understand what symptoms are, then we may have more clarity on the term asymptomatic. So if I feel well, then I might be sick, and start medical heavy interventions. And when I feel a reaction to their medication like tremor, pain, mood swing, inflammation, allergies, and seizure, when my body weeps it out loud, it is wrong for me making me feel it. Should I just ignore it as if it is meaningless according to modern idea of being asymptomatic sick when you feel well, and pushing a narrative to fool your body clear message, giving a reaction from their medication is a sign of healing? If our minds think when our body feels good, it is bad, and when it feels bad, it is good, then I can tell you that this is nothing but a manipulation tactic from abusive individuals used from the beginning of our times to control people, also children. And it is still here in 21st century. Before asymptomatic, your health was monitored by your feelings, by a change in your state, and you were in charge. And after 2020, they stole this power, and now they tell you what to do, instead of your body telling you what to do. I would be very careful with such a mindset, ignoring what the body says or doesn't. Because the body likes to be heard, listened closely. It is your friend and created to serve you. Body, if it is ignored, may simply leave us. Between senses of my body and me, there is no middle man from the government or from any controlled by them, medical institutions. And for me, signs and symptoms or absence of symptoms, they are my friends. Problems are my motivators for learning and growth. I will not let anyone twist it all upside down in order for them to make their money, maintain control over my body, causing suffering, so they can satisfy all their needs, including sadistic need, domination, and being entitled. Meantime, people get robbed by all rights given by the Creator, live a happy life, unowned and unbroken. Those who push asymptomatic ideas are liars, unconscious, power and money-obsessed individuals, not doctors. Logically, symptoms are signs of the body having a battle with microbes or bacteria. If it doesn't at all times in medicine, people considered healthy before 2020, and without any reference, it changed with a flip of finger during pandemic. This idea simply made everyone become a subject to having a procedure. They didn't address the stress and turmoil they created as a cause of us becoming ill, lowering our immune protection, contaminating our minds with horror fake images 24/7, treating us as a bunch of animals, shutting our mouths, censor, insult, humiliate, scare, but never let you speak up. Those people care about our health after all that. I see asymptomatic illness as absurd, which was inflicted recently. And symptoms must be present in any sickness. It is logical. I know nature is much more and kind to its creations. Nature puts 100 km of veins in each of our bodies in a perfect order, and always shows us that if we are not well, it takes energy from our activity to fight the illness that we are not willing to socialize when we are sick naturally. You cannot be up and running and be sick at the same time. If we take this narrative that illness can be without symptoms after 2020, then we are all always sick, even after medication. Asymptomatic is a false claim, or we are all sick, so it is good for Big Pharma. Medicine also took third place as a cause of death, due to overuse medications and doctors' mistakes. Therefore, I have no reason to trust it blindly, let alone with healthy people they go all bankrupt. There are doctors who consider to be criminal those who spread this claim as being asymptomatic as a fact, because it denies the capacity for a healthy person to be ever healthy. Who is healthy then? No one. You are aptite who can be asymptomatic for one period, then turn into symptomatic later. In any case, you are always their patient. A science that ignores a real, living experience is not science. It is not science. It is a misuse of the word, trying to call manipulation a science. I dedicated 2 blogs to health topics during that time. All reading and links, every article I studied. I have long health playlists for many years about health, and after processing information, I came to the conclusion that not all doctors wish us well, but rather collaborate with government narratives. When they tell us to run to the doctor fast, it is not because they care for you, but because they care for themselves to make as soon as possible a new future customer. The more you go there, the more they will make you go there. They will not let you out. One prescription can become a cause for the next health issue, then they give another prescription, then third, then fourth, etc. And offering such a medical service is not care for us, but care for their wallets and control. Real doctor respects your body telling or not telling about its issues. Doctor and body talk to each other. Real doctor talks to you for about 1 hour just to get some idea. But modern doctors don't give you more than 10 minutes, where most of their time takes printing prescriptions. They do not have to hear anything from you at all. Because you are a patient without symptoms, so they speak to you instead of your body. That is a very dangerous idea. I feel sorry for those doctors who are happy with this idea, because it will provide them with 100% nonstop clientele for the rest of their life. This is all they wish. But a good doctor is someone who understands our body language, considers and respects it. I am very concerned that the government dictates medical doctors what to do. And why are they so preoccupied with medicating us and not preoccupied with providing healthy food, air, water, and stress-free life? Real health doesn't come from surgeries, pills, and injections. Real health comes from diet, lifestyle, and environment. They do not know that. Instead of providing us with conditions that would make us healthy, they want to medicate us non-stop with chemicals that have side effects, sometimes worse than disease itself, short-term and long-term side effects, so we never know what can come up in the future because of those treatments. If I were in the position of power, and I were a person with integrity and honest, genuinely wished people well, I would debate medical and environmental issues as open as possible and clear all up. Instead, we have censorship. It is a red flag of dishonesty and manipulation. They make us believe that nature is stupid, cruel, and unreasonable, and they are there to correct this fault, acting as savers of the whole universe. This is ridiculous and delusional when the egg teaches the chicken how to be. I would be very careful in giving agreement and acceptance of this new 2020 label as being asymptomatic for the first time in medical history. With evidence, it is not science. I would rather test our breathing air daily, because sometimes the fog is so heavy that I can't clearly see a mountain from 5 km away. What is flying in our air we breathe? I can't deny that bad bacteria can be present in our environment. Farmers complain they have too many parasites, mosquitoes. They flew here also, but from where? That's why I care for our environment. Especially, I would like to know what bacteria flies our air. And it is my serious concern as it can be. This also exists, unfortunately. Biological warfare, also known as germ warfare, is the use of biological toxins or infectious agents such as bacteria, viruses, insects, and fungi. What are bacteriological weapons? Biological and toxin weapons are either microorganisms like viruses, bacteria, or fungi, or toxic substances produced by living organisms that are produced and released deliberately to cause disease and death in humans, animals, or plants. Therefore, I check everything they say. I always listen to alternative opinions and also check it. Where I find more evidence, reason, and common sense, I stay there. There is no sickness without symptoms. They must be present. The body always tells us about problems. Our body talks to us every second. I go through as many doctors as possible in both languages. Before that, I have no reason to worry or stress. Stress doesn't give a chance to think clearly. I also know that bacteria can be injected and sprayed, and also know that the governments have bio-laboratories that they invest a lot of money in. It is a matter of their integrity and our trust to them. I do not trust them because I didn't notice their integrity during my life journey. It is my personal experience. They never mentioned in the media about millions of people who are well without their medication, as if we don't exist. But we do exist, and it doesn't mean we are asymptomatically sick. And enough medical doctors went through and checked what they publish under the science name. It is all fiction. Fiction for making their disheartening business. That's why officials avoid any dialogue, but call us names like little children from TV. Don't you think we are able, like adults, discuss problems openly and respectfully, and not call each other names? Or is it okay to sit on a high horse and ignore those who have questions and demand solid proof? Arrogance, or are they afraid to be open in conversation? Any medical doctor who is arrogant or who is not open and refuses to answer logical questions is not my doctor. I do not want a doctor to smile at me. I want them to have evidence for every claim they put out. Arrogant doctor who believes everyone else is too stupid to understand without giving it a go, without evidence, without giving a chance, is simply unrealistic and ego-driven. Last thing I would wish for anyone, including my enemies, is to deal with a doctor who is ego-driven. Ego people do not care for others, however they may know how to appear so. Ego people who sit on high horses sit there for themselves only. Ego is not capable of caring for others. Only conscious people can. Consciousness is on the other side of ego. We can't be both. The more consciousness and awareness, the less ego in person. Those who want to make their wealth by creating a problem do not want our attention on finding the cause of the problem. Those invented asymptomatic illnesses. I do not need anyone between my body and me, between my thoughts and me, between my feelings and me, between my eyes and me, between my ears and me. Thanks, government, and I release the need for any of your agents to be present in my life. I cannot learn about all the thousands of health problems that can occur, but it is my duty to know how to stay healthy. And it starts from the most important criteria for staying healthy. It is to guard our minds from being contaminated by their beliefs that work against us. Fear and stress are mind killers. When I feel unwell and need help, I let them know. But they have no authority to impose themselves by force and to push asymptomatic, not proven 2020 nonsense in my mind. Overmedication is luckily the answer to the question, why so many disordered people? Maybe because they were fixed without a need to be fixed. Maybe, just maybe, they were already created perfectly. Meaning of symptoms. A physical or mental feature which is regarded as indicating a condition of disease, particularly such a feature that is apparent to the patient. Symptoms are personal, subjective experiences, like pain, fatigue, or anxiety, that serve as signals or messages from your body to alert you to an imbalance or a potential health issue. Symptoms are signals from the body, such as pain, which are directly perceptible or can only be detected during medical examinations. They are characteristics that deviate from the normal state and thus allow conclusions to be drawn about the state of health. Symptom descriptions provide healthcare professionals with the information they need to make a diagnosis, initiate treatment, and monitor the condition. The more precisely symptoms can be described, the more helpful this information is for healthcare professionals. Symptoms and their description are a central component of medical care. They are crucial for diagnosis, treatment planning, disease monitoring, and for monitoring the success of treatments. Symptoms are often the first indication of a possible illness. Describing the symptoms that occur enables the treating physician to make a suspected diagnosis. As different diseases can be accompanied by similar symptoms, it is important to describe the symptoms as precisely as possible. This is because it helps treating physicians to differentiate between various possible diseases, differential diagnosis. Monitoring symptoms can help to monitor the course of a disease. If changes in the symptoms are detected, this can allow conclusions to be drawn about the disease. This information is particularly important for those treating the patient. This is because it allows them to draw conclusions about the progression or decline of a disease and react accordingly. By monitoring symptoms and signals from the body, it is also possible to observe whether a therapy is working. If the symptoms improve or disappear, this is a sign that a treatment is working. Documenting the body's signs comes with a number of benefits. These include improved diagnosis and more efficient communication with the doctor, as sufferers can describe exactly when and what symptoms occurred. Regular recording also allows changes or early changes to be recognized, which enables earlier medical care. The structured recording of symptoms can also increase personal awareness of one's own state of health and reveal connections between symptoms and influencing factors, such as lifestyle, diet, and stress. When documenting symptoms, the following should be described as precisely as possible. Which complaint occurs? Pain, tingling, visual disturbances. Where it occurs? Upper abdomen, right lower back, calf, right side of forehead. How it feels in sharp, dull, pulsating. How strong it is on a scale of 1 to 10.